Hang on. I don't remember what to do. Please be over the age of, get over there, of 17, and please be kind to one another. There we go. And I have 0 people. Pop out chat. Pull this over here. Make this smaller. It could be that nobody will show up today. That would be very sad. That would make me really sad. Hello. Hello out there in coloring land. Are you there? It's Christine here. Good morning, Debbie. And good morning, Libby. And good hello, Tanya. I don't know if it's morning there. And welcome, welcome. I promise that I will get to coloring sooner than I have been in my some of my more recent videos. How is everybody? How is everybody doing under the continued craziness of what we call the new normal? And pardon my marks, they're fading. 107 in south Mississippi. And okay, so it's your Central Time then, I guess. The next one over, whatever the next one over from East Coast is. And oh, good, Debbie. I'm very, very glad. Hello, Barb Zanger. How are you, my dear? And hi to just everybody. And Lawrence, Kansas. Okay, that's terrific. I'm in, of course, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Fremont, Ohio. And okay, so that's that's Ohio. I kind of know where that is. Yeah, you have to pardon me. I am a musical kind of fan, and I am really an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical fan. So because, of course, his musicals as part of The Show Must Go On, which is a YouTube channel, are being used as fundraisers. I'll tell you about the week that I've had. No, not really, Tamara. If you look at a map of Virginia Beach, Virginia Beach geographically is gigantic. So it actually goes all the way from the Chesapeake Bay to the border of North Dakota. And so if this is the coast and this is the bay, then I live about here. So I'm only about 4 miles off the bay, but I'm 10 miles off the beach. So I hope that that sort of gives you an idea. In other words, I can't look out my window and see the ocean. We can show that. And that's terrific, Tanya. Thank you. And yes, I mean, if I will usually point out who the coloring channels are, like for instance, Tamara's Coloring Coven, you know that is a channel. So just go out to the little 3 dots, click on her name, and you can go over there and subscribe as well. But anyway, back to Andrew Lloyd Webber. So of course, 2 weeks ago, or last weekend, was the Phantom of the Opera. And it was the version that was filmed that starred Ramin Karimloo as the Phantom and Sierra Boggess as Christine. And I had never seen that particular version. I'd seen it on the stage a couple times, and I'd also seen the movie version with Jared Butler and Emmy Rossum. But I'd never seen the Karimloo Boggess version. And I was hooked last weekend. They are I mean, because there's a, I mean, they were the ones that I'd seen that were the most connected and, you know, had the best voices. And so when I'd heard 10 years ago that they were going to do a sequel to Phantom, and I thought, you know, that's going to be a tough one because those are characters that are so beloved that it would be very difficult to do a sequel. And as it turned out, that was the case. Even though, uh, and I came to learn as I was researching it. So anyway, so the Show Must Go On's feature this week was Love Never Dies, which is the sequel. Ah, okay. So I was prepared. Well, actually, what it was I didn't want to be unprepared. I didn't want to hate it because it's Andrew Lloyd Webber, for heaven's sakes. So I didn't ever want there to be an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical that I wasn't just like gaga over. And I mean, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, I didn't love that. But I love Phantom. So I prepared myself and I learned all sorts of things about this version of Phantom, including the fact that the version that was shown was filmed on the stage in Melbourne uh, with Ben Lewis and Anna O'Byrne, who are two iconic Phantoms and Christines that I had been unaware of. And together, they are absolute magic. I am telling you. I love this show so much. I watched it a dozen times if I watched it once. Because I just turned it off and it's over now. It stopped broadcasting 13 minutes ago. So anyway, uh, it is so good. I am telling you guys, if you haven't seen Love Never Dies, you missed out. Anyway, hello, Kenny and Shannon and Daryl and Annette and Sue and Melinda and all the people that are coming in and Elizabeth. And anyway, I will stop waxing poetic about that. I just, oh my gosh, it was just so good. So very good. Okay. So as you can see, I have my Inktense out. And technically it is the end of the month. So I thought that I would color out of Magic Dreams or out of my own book. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do is remember that we started a technique last week. And I think we did it in this, although I'm not sure. And I wanted to continue it on. And I honestly do not remember where it is. But y'all remember that we started that technique where we used different colors within the same petals. And this sort of demonstrates what I'm talking about. So you see how, and every time I pick this particular book up, I think about this. Kenny, why did you retract your message? Never mind. And I just love the way that Nadia Vasilikova colored these, and I want to apply this sort of technique to to my coloring in either this, which is my own book, my most recent book, or this one. And I think I do want to go ahead and color in Nadia's work. if you are unfamiliar with Nadia Vasilkova, sorry, um, her work is often grayscale, sometimes pointillism. And I realize that I need to bring up my camera controls because I'm having a little bit of issue here with the white balance being a little off. Whoops. How about we not turn it blue? And the autofocus is going to drive me crazy. So it's a lot of pointillism, a little bit of grayscale. Not this is the one that I did. Now this was the first time that I used CLAart markers. So this is a lot of different things. This is primarily markers. I didn't use a pencil on this at all. And I love the way that it turned out. But I did use a fair amount of the wonderful hybrid glitter gel pens that actually our Miss Kenny sent me, which I just absolutely love. And I use them on pretty much everything. But this is that picture. And I wanted to try it. I wanted to try this technique, but I was thinking that I might, I've already colored this on a stream, so I don't want to color this one. But now this is my book, and I was thinking about trying to apply that to this one and using Inktense and see what it looks like. So can we do that? Even though I did, I mean, technically, I did show her book, so that's good. I am promoting a fellow, she's also a fellow self-published artist, Nadia Vasilkova, and she's got a ton of books out. There are more books, of course, and I know that Zucchini Kitty, Karen at Zucchini Kitty, does an awful lot as well. So I was kind of hoping you'd say that, Barb. After all, I do have two things to show you guys, though. Here is the first one. It is a new drawing. It is not yet in the Etsy shop. This one is going to be a freebie for an event in May. But it will go into the Etsy shop after I've been able to distribute it to the group that I drew it for. So so look for that in about, I don't know, a week or so. It'll be there. And also, I wanted to say a huge, thank you to Miss Shara Craig, who, taking advantage of a wonderful sale, and thank you, Shara. I think I saw her pop in at Arteza, sent me this incredible pencil case, which I am now using for my Prismacolors. And those, of course, I have courtesy of Ms. Kenny, who is also here. There was a time when she spoiled me rotten, and I just use the heck out of these coloring supplies because I just love each and every one of them. But this is the case. I like Shara. I like the way that this one opens. It opens the long way, so you have access to two full rolls right there in front of you instead of having to turn the page every time. And so it holds 205 pencils, but I'm using some of the extra space for some blenders, some pencil extenders, a white jelly pen, and an eraser pen. And then if I tuck it right in between, this is a sharpener, and it won't actually fall out. It won't move because it's sort of jammed in there like that. And I just love it. So I did want to say a very, very big thank you to Miss Shara for that. And, there we go. It's still so new that everything is a little tight. It hasn't loosened up yet, like it will when it's done. Anyway, all right. So now we've got all of that out of the way. Yay! Not that saying thank you is ever a bother, because it's like, oh my goodness, I love the front pocket for swatch. Exactly. And what I was thinking was, if I ever just need to grab it and go, like maybe I want to go nature bathing and color in the park or something like that, because I put all that other stuff in there, I could just grab it and go, and not worry about, getting, or if, you go visit somebody or something like that and you're away from your own environment, everything that you need is there. Okay, so let me actually, let's go with the overall view just this very second. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out a color scheme for this. I think I might as well, and because this is a technique demonstration, really, I'm going to go ahead and stick with this, which are the and you know that this is my favorite color scheme, right? The pinks and the oranges, the blues and the purples, and the greens and the blue greens. So together, so like the peacock greens. Oh, speaking of which, anybody that saw the staging of Love Never Dies this weekend, was the peacock song, or the staging for Love Never Dies for the it was like amazing. The peacock dress, it was actually the curtain, but and she's wearing this stunning blue gown. Anyway, I will leave off talking about that. Do you think I might have loved it? Oh my goodness. I actually do love it. I don't have a streaming service. If I did, I'd own it. But yeah. Anyway, that was the red violet. All right. So what I want is the deep rose and the lilac. Is there a lilac? And if I can't find what I want in one set, I will try another set. Is there a light lilac? There's the thistle, which is close. The mauve, which is also close. I think I'm going to try the mauve and just use it very, very lightly as a purple, and see what we can do here. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to try using this very lightly. And not in a way that looks like blended and shaded. I'm actually using it just in different spots along here. Hi, Louise. Hi, Donna. And hello to everybody that has come in. And that is an emergency coloring backpack. I love that. Wait. You have an emergency travel backpack already, like an expectant mom has her hospital bag. There you go. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to just add a little bit of that. And then I will add the lighter pink. And I realize that you can't really see this just yet, but I think you'll be able to as soon as I apply some water to it. And I'm just using the side of the pencil, And because, of course, Inktense, Derwent Inktense are ink and not wax. And now I'm going to just be very, very light with my water brush. And what I've failed to do, and I can hear Melinda, I can hear her. She's screaming at me. She's saying, Christine, yo, honey, you forgot, didn't you? Even though Inktense does not bleed through, it is always a good idea to give any kind of water medium or alcohol medium some place to bleed into that isn't this direction. So how is everybody doing? Have you checked out Canopy through your library to stream free movies? This is also very true. Well, and I will say that Love Never Dies, the movie version of it, I don't know when it actually came out. I know that it first went on stage. All right, so the history of Love Never Dies, if you don't know about it, it is written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and instead of Tim Rice, the lyrics are by a guy named Glenn Slater. And while some of it is really good, others of it are very clunky or were very clunky in the original production. So a lot of it was the lyrics. Several of the lyrics were rewritten by Christopher Hart, or Charles Hart. Sorry, Charles Hart. And he fixed a lot of that clunkiness. But the story itself, people had a real problem with. Can you tell that I might have studied the history of this thing? Because I wanted to know why it failed. How could an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical fail? How could it fail? And it didn't really fail. It just didn't sell a lot of tickets, and it doesn't have the 35-year run that Phantom does. Because Phantom has never stopped, not for a day. Well, now, but not for a day had it ever stopped from the time that it went on. And I like that a little bit. Well, I mean, we'll see how it. I'm going to do 3, and then I'll start doing the inside one work. And we can always darken up our colors as soon as it dries. So I've got the deep rose. So anyway, but it was the fans. The fans just refused to buy into the storyline. And that just breaks my heart because the storyline is so good. The Phantom disappears after after he kills Piangi and does all of that. He disappears, and the Paris Opera Theater burns down. But where does he go? Well, in Gaston Leroux's book, he's dead. And Christine, of course, finds his body after he's dead. But in the Andrew Lloyd Webber version, we don't know. It's only his mask is ever found. So where did he go? Well, is it completely outside of possibility that he might have been smuggled to America? Why not? In 1905, there were, Coney Island was the big, a huge attraction to most of the world because of the, bizarre. And the more bizarre, the better. The freak shows and the circuses and the, the automatons and all of that kind of stuff that we now have in museums, um, was what it was. I am always a member of my local library. It's usually the second thing I do after I move to an area, uh, is to uh, uh, is to get the first one is to, of course, get a driver's license, and the second one is to get a library card. So, or at least what used to be a library card, now it's a, it's basically, since everything is electronic. Um, so I hadn't thought about possibly trying to use the library, uh, but I like to. I mean, I got to admit, since I don't like to leave the house, if I can't stream it or buy it on DVD and have it sent in, or rent it on DVD and have it sent in, then I'm not really that interested in it. So, but I would own this. I would buy the DVD. I would absolutely buy the DVD of this. Um, but then you'd never see me because I'd just be playing it over and over again. They'd find me glued to my chair, dead of starvation or thirst or something, because I couldn't bear to tear myself away. I just kept hitting replay. Um, I'm going to try a different purple here as well. I'm going to try the dusky purple, and because we are, once again, this is a sort of a technique type thing. I just want to see what just splotching it up does. In other words, what I want to do is I want to make it so that you guys aren't afraid to experiment, and to experiment with your coloring. You don't have to get so married to a technique or a style that you are unable to to want to try other new things. And part of that is the experimentation factor. Ooh, that's probably better to be in focus. You don't think the library would have much? You would be surprised. Um, well, actually, yeah. Um, well, yeah. See, I think libraries are just so very important. I It just kills me that people don't take advantage of their libraries more, especially it really is. It is a free education. It is absolutely a free education. If you have a library card, the world is at your fingertips. Every, every textbook, and now with the advent of the internet, there is just no reason, none at all, other than having a diploma to hang on your wall, that you can't get every bit the education that any college graduate has for absolutely free. You just have to take advantage of the resources that are available and know where to look for them. And you have to, the thing about it is that, if you're going to self educate, you kind of have to be dedicated. But I never cared about the diploma to hang on the wall. I just wanted to have the education. So that is, see, so I kind of like that. I think I like these colors a little bit better. I'm not too fond of this dusky purple. It's, I should have looked at it before, but it's pretty true to what it says. It's kind of a dark purple, but that's okay. This part can be maybe in shadow. We'll think shadow. So let's try here. I want to do the, because I want these to be green. So I want these to be yellow because the others are going to be blue. So let's take the sun yellow. Now this I am going to be a little more purposeful with, and then I'm going to make my outsides yellow. But I'm going to make the insides the carmine pink. Ooh, which I just love. And anyway, I love, I cannot tell you how much I loved this sequel of Phantom. It's got a really tragic ending, guys, I got to tell you, because Christine dies in the end. I don't think that is a spoiler. It could not have ended any other way. But she leaves him the most amazing gift, and that I won't tell you. It's just a reimagining of the Phantom where instead of choosing Raoul, she chooses the Phantom. And wait a second, with an interlibrary loan, you may be able to get more than you think. Oh, that's wonderful. No car cannot get there. Yeah, that is an issue. And do they not deliver to you, Donna? I guess not. I forget that there are still places that are, oh, I like the way that looks. That there are still places that are very, very rural. All right, I'm going to turn this. I like more books saved to my hard drive than 10 people could read in a lifetime. Aha. Well, here's the other thing, everybody. If you do not use it, try the Internet Archive. Now, if it was written in the time of copyright, it's only there if it got the permission of the author. That is in the public domain, all kinds of stuff that was written long ago is there, and it's in wonderful format. It's all been, it's all been filmed page by page. It's easily readable. I download an awful lot of art books from there. Oh, there goes the cat. Because they're free, and because even though somebody new may have put out a book with that technique in it, that technique they learned from an old book. That was always the people that copyrighted Zentangle. I'm like, man, you learned that out of molding books, because the same step-by-step directions for Zentangle are in those old, wood carving instruction books for how to make fancy molding. It's in the same breakdown, and all of that. And these people were claiming that they invented it. It's like, yeah, right, okay. And certifying people. I'm like, geez Louise, people, you could go learn that stuff from a book at the Internet Archive for free. Hello, Kathy, and hello to everyone here. Okay, so once again, I'm only going to do a couple of these, and we're going to work our way out. And I mean, you're obviously seeing some color combination work here as well. So you don't always have to stick to just two colors. If you wanted to, you could go three or four. Um, and if you see something that you like and you want put your own twist and spin, like this, really, I'm just adapting from this. And as I am doing it, I'm learning more and more about how I want these colors to work. So I could, uh, like for instance, for this flower, see what color this is. This is the peacock blue. So if I use this very lightly here on the bottom, and I think the blue might be the wrong thing. I think what I want is the green. I want the peacock green. Is that this one? No, that's the mallard green. But that would do. That's the green aquamarine. I love that. Oh, now I'm remembering. There is no peacock green in Inktense. That is only in Prismacolor. Okay, so now, but then if I do that, and then I take the apple green. Oh no. How about the spring green? And put it in with it. And do that. And then it'll make for a very interesting leaf. So I'm going to do the green side first because I want it to stay light. But then if I do the blue side and come back over a little bit, ooh, I like that. I like that very much. Okay. I like the way see how it's got the blue and the green and the teal and the apple, as all those colors sort of blend together. And as it dries, it'll look different. It'll look lighter, and you can then adjust how you want your colors to look. Oh, great. Oh, that's terrible. It is, living in a rural area can be very hard. It's like living in, certain parts of Hawaii. People think that Hawaii is paradise until you realize that you live on an island. And then if it isn't made on your island, it has to be imported. And if something happens that it can't be imported, you have to do without. Thank goodness they have plenty of greenery to serve for. Is toilet paper back in the stores, by the way? Does anybody know? I ask now because I am about to run out. All right, so now let's try just the green aquamarine without the blue and see if we like that. Even if I just go a little dark around the edge and then pull in the spring green. And I could even throw in a little of the apple green out here. So really what I want to encourage you guys to do is play, experiment, make it fun, you know, everything can be absolutely gorgeous, even on the same piece. If you're working with different, you know, mediums, different styles, you can do that all in the same piece. And it'll all work together because the eye perceives imperfections, or the eye doesn't perceive imperfections unless you're actually looking that closely. You got one roll of Scott from Ingles Grocery in a 4-pack. Those tiny little rolls. Yes, I'm familiar with those. The ones that are like 62 cents. Yeah. Uh-huh. That last like 3 days. Yeah. Whereas a roll of Scott's tissue will last at least a week in a household of 2. And for me, I can make one last at least a week. Okay, so I can do this. If I decide that I don't like the carmine pink, I can always, you know, put a little bit of the, who'd you call it? You know, my favorite one there, the mid vermilion. So I'll do the mid vermilion in between, maybe just a little bit. So none of these is colored the same. They're all, you know, they're all sort of different, but, and it doesn't matter if you're trying to do this with Inktense. You can also do it with pencils. You know, you can do it with markers. You can, you know, if you're good at blending markers, which I'm not real. Of course, I don't really have blending markers, but I do just fine with my, you know, with the CLAarts in as far as getting beautiful blends out of them. So I don't think you need to have markers specifically made for that. Well, hello, Tara, and welcome to anybody that has popped in. Just so you know, I have kind of adopted Dee Dee's thing. So if you're talking to me and you want to ask me a question, put it in all caps. But if you're talking to each other, small caps is fine. Or small, you know, your regular letters. Never mind, I'll shut up now. All right, so this, since I liked that, we'll use that, and then we can also use, oops, I'm missing, what did I use before? I think I used the, oh, look, let's pull the iris blue and see what we can do with that. Okay, so we've got the green and the blue there, and then we'll just do this one, apple green, and see how we like that without the spring green. Kind of go over that because you can change the color of that blue by putting the green over it so it comes more like a mallard green. Ooh. I like that too. Zoom it down. Zoom. Am I still in focus? It looks like I am. Let me move over. Hey, there we go. Yeah, see this one turned out a little splotchy for right now, but it's not bad. And I actually, the more it dries, the more I kind of like the contrast of that as opposed to this. Because this, doesn't seem very contrasting to me. And okay, all right. So I was just reading chat there for a second and getting distracted. Oh gosh, did I mention how much I love? I'm actually jonesing here. There is some music in that musical which is just Beneath a Moonless Sky. Oh my gosh. Gives you chills. The Phantom and Christine are recalling their one night of passion. It's like, oh my gosh. Really? My mid vermilion. Followed immediately by the sweetest duet of Once Upon Another Time. And how about I don't know who saw it, but how about the opener? Oh my gosh, the opener, which is To Love Never Dies, what uh, um, Music of the Night is to Phantom. Oh, anyway, it was a great weekend. Started Friday at 2 o'clock here, 7 o'clock UK time. I did. Shame on me. I'm an artist and I understand about copyright. But I will also, there was also another distraction this particular weekend. Somebody with a very good seat and excellent sound equipment took a video at the live show of Hamilton back when Lin-Manuel Miranda was the star. Not only, of course, did he write it, but he starred in it. And on the 22nd of April, they put up a video. Now, whether or not it is still there, I don't know. But I can tell you that I did watch it twice yesterday, in addition to, mostly because I just couldn't believe that it was there. And while the video itself is pretty out of focus, the sound quality more than made up for it. And of course, I am 61 years old and have a newfound love of rap. But I can tell you what, it was really good as well. I cried like a baby when Aaron Burr shot him. It was like, imagine what he could have done had he lived, but look at all that he achieved while he did. Even Thomas Jefferson had to give him props. Okay, so I like the way that that looks. And now here in the center, I am going to do one of my gemstones because you know I love my gemstones. And for the gemstone, we are going to use, what are we going to use for the gemstone? Do we want it to be purple or do we want it to be aqua? I think we want it to be like aqua blue. So I'm going for the Lagoon. around the absolute outer edges. All right, and then I'm going to go with the iris to start with. Gonna leave my little gem thing there. Just super, super light. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of the green aquamarine. And around the edge. All right, that should be enough pigment. Let's see. This one could be a little tricky. And I may not be able to pull it off, but we're going to give it a shot. Pardon me 1 second while I concentrate. Hello, Katrina. And, okay. Now, I'm not going to have an idea of whether or not this turns out until it dries, but we shall see. We shall absolutely see if maybe it will. Okay, so let me do 1 or 2 more of these. And I actually am liking that dusky, darker purple. So I am going to maybe not use that particular shade of purple. I think what I might do is go up here to this deep violet, which is different purple, but I think is more in keeping with the pink. And let me just go over some of these areas that I originally did. Doesn't have to be all of them, and it doesn't even have to be a lot. But I just want to darken up some of those to kind of marry it a little bit more to this one. And because the paper had been previously wet, it spreads a little bit differently, at least on this Amazon paper, than it does the first time around. So you just sort of have to know that it's going to do that and just work with it. And the more you work with your tools, or the more you work with a medium on a particular paper, the more you understand how it is going to react on that particular paper, because they all work a little bit differently dependent upon the paper that you're using. I think that is true of markers. It's certainly true of pencils. Sometimes you have to pick the right pencil for the paper that you're working with. So, there are if your paper doesn't like water-based, or, it doesn't like wax, try using an oil pencil like a polychromos. And if it doesn't, if you have all of these things, that is, if it doesn't take water altogether, try alcohol markers. That's what I had to do in Leila Dooley's book. It wouldn't take the water at all. Libby, that's okay. And thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to me that you were here today. And And yes, Katrina, it is. It is, actually, it's my newest book. This one came out after Manda's. So it is Dragons, Flowers, and Mandalas Oh My. And of course, it's got my little family of dragons in it, and all the drawings are by me. And I have colored extensively from this book. Uh, and of course, none of them are here ready at hand. Uh, but I'll show those. Wait, oh, there they are. Yay! Oh, here, rabbit trail. Sorry, I want to show off my work. That is here. You know, we well, it's one of many reasons that I'm here, uh, but it is. But I have new subscribers who might not know about all the stuff that I have done. So, uh, anyway, now I'm, I'm kind of discombobulated here. Let me move that out of the way. There we go. Uh, so this is a new picture that's not in any book. This one is only in my Etsy shop, and this one is only in my Etsy shop. So these are new. These will both go in the next book, as will this one, which we did with, this one is pencils, this one is Inktense and Tim Holtz Distress Inks. This one is from this book, and I never did finish this one. But here's this is the What You Doin' Dragon from this book. And this is the Dragons Come Calling from this book. This is the one that's also on the cover, although it's somebody else's coloring. This one is my coloring of it. And I added some little doodads in the background. That's actually from my friend Susan Curry's book, Living on Memory Lane. But this actually belongs to Nanamo because I'd send it to her. I just haven't done it yet because I keep using it for things. Um, it's one of the ones that I've submitted for a possibility of having a diamond painting made out of it. So there's this one is Moongazer Dragon, and this one is, of course, my little Spica. She sort of started off the dragons. This remains unfinished. It also is in this book, the Dragon's book, and that's the Duck Pond. This is in this book, I believe, as well. We started this at Christmas, but I never finished it. And this is in this book, another one that I finished or didn't finish, but it's a work in progress. So one of these days, I had to get back to my works in progress. And all of those are colored with different things. Some are Inktense, some are pencils, some are watercolors. But Inktense, of course, will always remain my absolute favorite. Thank you, Annette, and welcome. I don't believe I greeted you. And of course, I have Kathy Nichols and everybody, and Sue. I think I said hi to Sue. I don't know now. I'm confused. I'm always a little confused. Did I mention how much I love? Oh, I'll tell you what. I have. I want the DVD. I don't really want it. What I want is to store it somewhere. I don't want the DVDs because those have a limited shelf life. Stream it without having to pay for a streaming service. I mean, I want to be able to buy it and have a streaming service hold it, but you have to join a streaming service, which is a monthly fee, and I'm not paying a monthly fee. Bad enough that I've now, actually, I have started paying a monthly fee to have my groceries delivered. So I guess that's not really an indulgence. That's more of a necessity right now, anyway. All right, so this is the deep violet. So now we're starting a new one. We're sort of doing what we did here, sort of just doing a little up and down. Maybe we'll do a streaky down there. Maybe that one won't have any, and this one will have, just a little. Maybe this one will have just some down here in the corner, and then the rest of it will be pink. And I'm not being as light as I intend to be here. I'm actually adding a little bit of a darker shade. So I am drawing again, everybody. So there is that, and unless Andrew Lloyd Webber makes yet another Phantom, my time will once again be my own. Not that it's not now. I have, did I mention I might have an obsessive personality? There might be a reason why the Phantom of the Opera appeals to me so much. It's a little like looking in a mirror, as far as his obsessive nature goes. I do have a tendency to get very, very focused, and to the exclusion of things like spouses and everything else. So I kind of get the whole idea of a musical who sits around composing masterpieces that nobody is ever able to hear because he doesn't have any way to get them out in the world. So wait, what's going on with Katrina? Katrina, what's going on with you? Are you all right? And here's a flip through. Katrina, there are flip throughs of every book in at the end of every one of my pre-recorded videos. Excuse me. If you look at the end screen, the end screen of every video, there is a link in all of those to my book flips. But right now, if you just bring up my channel, I think that this book is playing in the promo spot. Hi, Connie. How are you? And welcome, welcome. You have to go back and find your comment to you about your watercolor experience. Oh, good. I did. Actually, I saw that, Barb. I will go back because, I do reread the chat usually after every, it's usually a couple days later, but I go back and I reread it so that I can see if I missed anything and any questions or, comments or, if something is going on in one of your lives that, that I want to contact you about privately, so that I do that. And I also, because I like to periodically review, I always review the video quality and the sound quality and all of that kind of stuff. Like, I've noticed that a couple of my videos have been kind of crackly at the beginning. Not sure what was going on there. I've since moved my setup and my wiring around a little bit so that left some things looser than they were as for when I move the camera up and down, that kind of thing. And hopefully that will stop it. But yeah, I like to do that. Plus, I actually like to listen to myself to figure out stupid things I might have said. And, because I do that quite regularly in regular video. Excuse me, in my regular videos, if I'm just yakking along, and occasionally I will just say something that is just so dumb. Like, in my pre-records, I can cut it out. Something that I normally wouldn't say. Like, hey, everybody, there's a bootleg of Hamilton. You should go watch it. Starring Lin-Manuel. And oh, I'm telling you what, I watched it twice. It was good. Absolutely, so good. Really, when you think about Alexander Hamilton, he could have just been, one of the unambitious, like Aaron Burr, unable to make a stand, even if it was wrong, At least with Alexander Hamilton, you always knew where you stood. And if you've ever read the Federalist Papers, I learned a bunch of stuff. Like John Jay wrote 5 of the Federalist Papers before. These were the papers in defense of the Constitution before it had been adopted. And so, because there were huge factions that didn't want the Constitution, and so it was up to these guys who wrote it to defend it. And another guy wrote 29. I think I'm trying to remember who it was that wrote 29 of them, but there were 85 altogether, Federalist Papers, and Hamilton wrote 51 of them. So if you want to have an idea of what the founding fathers were thinking when they wrote the Constitution, read the Federalist Papers. And then, of course, there's the room where it happened. I want to be in the room where it happened. Wow, I've been using the deep rose, and I meant to be using the mauve. The deep rose. Well, no, let's go back to the mauve. Maybe we'll just stop with that half and work on a green leaf or something. How about that? Keep it more interesting. There are okay, that's what I wanted to do. I have to finish these guys. I'm sorry. Because I want to get to underneath. And I need to get at least this far. So I need to do at least one more. All right, so deep violet. And of course, we owe the fact that the United States has a credit line to, Alexander Hamilton, who created the banking system ultimately, and Wall Street, unfortunately. Of course, we wouldn't have a banking system if it wasn't for Wall Street. So, and of course, how he suckered the South out of all the money, out of where the money is actually is actually made or controlled, actually controlled. It's always been controlled by New York. It's always been controlled by New York. Yeah, the Federalist Papers are just, they are just incredible. But I love that song, The Room Where It Happened. I want to be in the room where it happened. Because there was no agreement. Hamilton did not have the votes. Hamilton did not have the votes to get the Constitution passed. And and both Jefferson and Madison were totally against it. Totally against it. And George Washington, well, actually, no, this was George Washington basically told him to figure it out, told Alexander Hamilton to figure it out. And so nobody knows what happened. Well, we do know what happened. We ended up with the nation's capital in the South, which was D.C., and the money, the banking system in New York. But we don't know what the secret was, because it was Jefferson, Madison, and Hamilton met secretly. And so that's what the story of, and made a compromise, because they were totally against it and then they were suddenly for it. So Aaron Burr wanted to be in the room where it happens, and he was so upset that he didn't have any say in it, because he had, at that point in time, I think he had, he was still just a representative of his state. Okay, now let's go brush up on my American history. I need to read the Federalist Papers again, is really what I need to do. It is something that I do in an election year, always. Hang on. Sorry about that. Okay, now let's go for these. What do we want to do with those? What colors are we missing so far? So we've got our greens, and we've got our yellows and oranges. And I think we need to go with the yellows and oranges again. But how do we want to do it? Do we want to make these yellows with sort of dark oranges? Do we want to splotch them up like we've done? Do we want them to be a little more, like these are a little more yellow, but we could do this. Hang on, we could do this. Let's go with the mid vermilion here in the corners. And then let's go with the pink. Is this no, that's the carmine pink. I want the rose. Whoops. And so I'm going to go with the rose in between here and see what happens. This is a see what happens experiment. And I think that the better choice here is probably going to be the carmine, but we're going to try it with the dusty rose just to find out. Okay, so I'm going to activate the dusty rose, or the rose first. And then I'm going to bring that down a little bit into those. And I think that I'm going to want it to be the carmine pink. So we're going to try that So this will be the experiment for this. We're just working out how we want this to work. So I'm going to do this one only carmine pink. But then we want these to be more of a, hang on, we want a, I think a cadmium. Yeah, I think the cadmium orange, possibly the tangerine as well, since you know that those are my lovely colors that I like. And we're going to, instead of that sun yellow, I'm going to go with the, I think I'm going to go with the cadmium yellow, which is a slightly brighter yellow. Yeah. And we're going to see what we can do here. Let's see here. All right, so those pass underneath. So that's where I'm darkest. So I'm going to start up here with this lighter. And I'm not being shy with the amount of pigment that I'm using. Oh, sorry. That's a line from Love Never Dies. She was no longer scared. He was no longer shy. Sorry. Hard to think of the Phantom of the Opera as being shy, but he really was just sort of a misunderstood guy. We do such a huge amount of forgiving in bye, Louise. Thank you, sweetheart, for coming. Lovely Louise. Okay, be safe, especially with people starting to disobey the rules. There are folks who have public jobs who have to go to work, and who are in necessity. Louise works on a train and manages a train, which of course they have to have in the UK to transport everybody. And with people starting to, disregard the social distancing rules, I know it's really starting to have an effect on, on the general psyche of those that are still needing to be, wanting to be careful. So I hope. Actually, I want the burnt orange. I hope that people behave themselves before other people start getting, really ticked off. Now, I do, in addition, of course, to everything else, I do watch one newscast a day, so I'm not unaware of the idea, some of the bizarre things that have been floated in the last few days. No comment. I really just hope that those people that are not comfortable with the fact that a lot of people are stopping social distancing, I hope that they're safe and that nobody gets. It'd be nice if nobody else got sick, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oops. I watched an interview with an ER or with a ICU nurse from just a couple days ago. Just broke my heart. Let's see. All right, brighter things. Far, far brighter things. So we're going to go with the this color combination and see how we did. At some point in time, I just started throwing colors in. So let's see how this goes. Hi, Jill. Bye, Jill. You've been watching and listening. Okay. And yeah, did. He went berserk. Let's see. So we're going to see how this plays out. That's all any of us can ever do in life. In our coloring, when we start a new project, in just about any endeavor that we try, we just have to try and see how it plays out. Sadly, there are no guarantees that we have for anything. Not how a coloring project will turn out, not how your day is going to turn out, for heaven's sakes. I mean, how many of us have started a day with, plans one way and had it end up totally different? Yeah, okay. I don't hate it. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. We need to, ooh, I like that actually. All right, let's see if we can do that again. Let's go over here. This one won't be nearly as fun because it's not as big of a space, but that's okay. Let's see. There's my cadmium yellow. So I like the freedom of just sort of picking up colors and, using them and just seeing what happens. This is when I color, I am having fun because let's put it this way. The world is just too darn serious for me. It's like, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I want to do this. Oh, and look what showed up. Oh, actually, I won't show you the other part, but I will show you that. Look, I got one. Most money I've had in one place in I don't know how long. For me, catch up on all the stuff that's 90 days behind. So, that is just, that actually gives me breathing room. Absolute breathing room. I can take a deep breath for at least 30 days. That'll be wonderful. And then I do hope that, I hope that even if, we end up maintaining social distancing, I do hope that they figure out how to get the economy running again. Because, being absolutely perfectly honest, I cannot equate my situation excuse me, with those people who were suddenly thrown out of work, who have rent, who have who have all of those things that are due, kids and I like I say, I am truly blessed in my life to have a roof over my head that they can't kick me out of, and and all of that. But I believe me, I've lived in the dark and I've done those things. Boiled my water because because I didn't have any gas. Those kinds of things. I've done all of those things, but nothing equates to having all of those responsibilities and then being thrown out of work as suddenly as so many people have. So it's just I just count myself grateful for the blessings that I have, and I hope that because that by the way, that the musical marathon is a fundraiser for the Actors Guild, for all of those artists and stagehands and all of those people who keep theater going. Sorry, that suddenly have no work, no insurance, no anything like that, and so we'll figure out a way to send a little bit of that to them as well. I need to stop upsetting myself. Life is just not that hard, Christine. I don't know if this one is going to turn out as well, because I think that with a small space, I should not have gone with quite so many colors. But I do want to bring in this burnt orange. Now, this is a darker shade, and I am bringing it in sort of underneath this leaf on one side, and then underneath here. And if my light is coming from, oops, yeah, my light, I see, I screwed that up, didn't I? Should have gone the other side. That's okay. Only you and I know that I screwed that up. uh, oh, Barb. Yes. Oh, Barb. Uh, yeah. That's that. Gosh, that's weird. I don't mean to. I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is that obviously the Social Security Administration, which is actually informed by the county health departments of the passing of somebody, which immediately stops their Social Security from coming. I think it just goes to show that the two hands are not talking to each other. And I know that for a fact because my Social Security card is in my first married name because I never changed it, excuse me. And yet my check came in my real name or the name that I use now. So it had to have come based upon my tax return. And I'd be willing to bet that your mom, you filed the tax return for your mom, right? For either the 2018 or 2019 tax year, or if she was getting Social Security and you didn't have to file a tax return, she would have gotten one anyway. So you know that there's a box to check on there on the front of it that says that if a person is deceased, it looks like that. It says if recipient is deceased, you check the box and pop it back in the mail. Yeah, they will. You need to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what you need to do. You need to actually, if it came in this envelope, or if it was a wire transfer, then obviously you have to deal with that differently. But if it's an envelope like this, it's if the recipient was deceased, you just check this box and pop it back in the mail. Okay. Yeah, I was shocked. And of course, I had to pay self-employment taxes. Uh, I didn't have to, I didn't, if you don't make a certain amount, you don't owe any income taxes, but uh, you do end up having to pay 15% social or toward Social Security and Medicare, which is fair. I mean, it is fair, absolutely, of anything that you make. So I had to file a tax return, and as broke as I am, thank goodness that they gave you until July 15th to pay, because that is also where some of that money has to go. Is I have to remember to save out enough to cover the tax when it's or cover the taxes when they take them out on July 15th, which they will take them directly out of my checking account. I guess that is only fair. That is the deep rose. Okay, so now we're going to try this, which is slightly different than what we did before. So that's $1,200, and it's got to go a long way. I may be broke tomorrow, but at least at least the bills will be current again. Yay! You have no idea what a relief that'll be. I'll bet Donna knows, because I think Donna is like me. We both live sort of near to the edge. Our lives wouldn't be very exciting, Donna, if everything was always smooth. And I am only 11 months away from being able to collect Social Security, which I paid into for 45 years. So, okay, cadmium orange. And so I figure if I can hold out, this is tangerine. If I can hold out until then, I'll be golden. And then I want the burnt orange for, whoops, trying to find the burnt orange. Oh, here's the mid vermilion. That was my next color over. All right, now I need the burnt orange. Where's my burnt orange? There it is. Okay. I know somebody else that's looking forward to May. I hope she's still here. May, the month of May. The month of May is going to be a good deal. Hopefully, we will all figure out our new normal as far as how to go about with the economy, if that's possible. Good things. There'll be lots of birthdays, homecomings. Hopefully, people that have been stuck out of the, because there are people that actually have been stuck outside of their homes, their home countries, because there's stuff they can't come in, or if they do, they've got to be quarantined, and all of that. So Okay. Yeah, exactly. Stuck in the Philippines while visiting his mom. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And all right, I like the way that those are turning out. What do you think? Okay, so we've done 3 of them. Let's try bringing in, we need to bring in some more greens. So let's pull, and hopefully I haven't been working like totally off screen here. All right, so let's bring in some more greens. Let's see, I want that to be kind of a flowery thing. All right, so this is the green aquamarine. I think what I want to do is I want to bring the green aquamarine here and here. Just kind of like that. Then I want to bring the apple green up in here. Kind of dark. Let's then, all right, so adding a little bit of that around in there. Then I want to add the, where do we want to go? We want to go with the, I want to keep it a blue green. Ooh, wait, what's that? That's the dark aquamarine. No. Is that the one I want? Is it? Let's try. Dark aquamarine. Wait, what's this? That's the green aquamarine. Oh. Excuse me. That's a blue. Sorry. Okay, there's a green. Is this the spring green? Yes. All right, this is the spring green. So if we do this, and then let's see how that looks when we bring it to life. Oh, I like it. I like it. Okay. See, I love that blending of colors inside of one, one object. I think, especially if they're vastly different. And I love to watch Lori over at Color My World because she does this. She thinks of these, well, and there are a lot of people that do. She thinks of these wonderful color combinations and then shows us how to do them. And so Lori, Claire, Sammy, all of those people, excuse me. I am just having a real problem today with, with the mucus in my throat, so I apologize. Like today is different than any other day, right? Okay, so now let's pull a little bit of the blue aquamarine or the dark aquamarine, which is blue, or down here on this side. Kind of go, and I'm just making this up sort of as I'm going along. I'm just trying to keep it sort of in pattern. so that both of these are the same. Excuse me. So now we've got the green aquamarine again, which is very, very similar. Just slightly greener. So go dark under there. All right, then got my apple green out here at the tips. Trying to think of the, where would be the lightest. Might as well get this one while I'm at it. And out here at the tips. And then put a little bit of the spring green. Let's see, I'm going to use the spring green there, just to show that we can do it both ways. And then pull I want the green aquamarine for in there with just a tiny, tiny bit of the dark aquamarine up there in the very uppermost resources. Okay, ooh, I like that. So I'm brushing from the light first. So those areas that you want to stay light, do those first, and then that way you can stay away from them. Or brush your colors back from them. Can also do that. Do the dark first, then wipe off, then do the light and pull it back into it. Either way works. Oh yeah. Okay, I like the way that looks. Okay, so now this one, maybe this one is mostly just the greens. Why not? Why not mostly just the green? Down in here. And then instead of blues, we could choose a more, not teal green. Oh, how about a mallard green? Why not? Let's use a mallard green. Underneath there. Just to sort of change that up. And let's try not using any other colors. Oops, let me get my brush wet. It puts out plenty of water, but I want plenty of water for this. Now this time I'm not actually wiping off, and I'm just tapping. Just sort of tapping. I just want to see what'll happen. If I just sort of, blend those two colors together. I could make them darker, because you can always go darker, because the mallard green is not quite as dark or as rich as that as that dark aquamarine is. But these are the things that you learn sort of as you go along. On the other hand, it's not bad. It's not a bad look. You're just laying here anyway, listen. Oh no. I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely still here. I'm absolutely still here. Hopefully you can still see me. Hello. Hello, wide world out there. Okay, so now I can go. Now I can go. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I guess I could go this way. So back to this dark again. Only this time I'm making it really dark. And using quite a bit of pigment. And let's see if we just roll that out, how we do. Why not? See, just by leaving it, it just throws an interesting bit of contrast into this by not making it also green. See what I mean? Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, yay. Hi, Kitty. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I've been here all along. I had that happen the other day. As a matter of fact, because apparently when you watch the premiere episode, you have to watch it in the same time frame that it's on. Because I came in about 5 seconds late, and so the voice sync with the action on the screen was 5 seconds off, and I was prepared to be so disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to watch it because unsynced sound is something that just bothers my brain. Uh, if the sound on the screen doesn't match the sound coming out of their mouths or the action of their mouths. But anyway, okay. So now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this whole thing in this apple green, the stem. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to use shade and shadow. And apple green is one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to stick with the blues or the blues and the greens. So this is the green aquamarine. And this would be an inside curve. So it would be dark on the inside of this curve. It would also be dark coming out from under this where the little leaf folds over. That would be light. And I could use a little of the spring green to just sort of soften that transition up. I don't think it needs it, but I could also use the spring green to come back over the top of this to give it a little bit more dimension. So now let's see how we did. So I'm going to start with the dark. And just blend down toward the light. Lay still. Okay, and then come over the top here with that other green. And we have a stem. Laying here listening to you and enjoying it, and then poof, I was gone. Oh, you finally broke down and bought a fern in Inktense. It is pretty, isn't it? It is a great, great color. Hello, Tammy, who is Static Shock. Welcome. I saw that you had subscribed to my channel the other day, so welcome as a new subscriber. And let's see. Okay, so now we are working on needing to pull in a different color. So I've got the mallard green, which was here. This is what I used for, no, I used the mallard green there, but I don't want to do that. I want to stick with a green, but I want to slowly bring it sort of darker than it is. So I'm going to pull a, see, is the beach green a good, let's see if the beach green is a good match. The greens are on the other side. I think okay, so that's the green aquamarine. The beach green is too yellow. So I think the only one that is darker is the iron green. All right. So we will pull the iron green, but we will be very careful with it because it can be a color that can really get away from you in a hurry because it is very intense and very dark. So I'm going to use the iron green, come out from under over there. Just in these little corners. Of where these petals join in this stem. Then I could go and make these the colors that we have liked, which are the spring green, just going a little bit. I mean, kind of medium with the amount of pigment that I'm putting down. And then we can go with the apple green, which of course you know I love. Love my apple green. And I suspect that my time is just about up. It does look like it is 4:01. So let me finish this little leafy thing right here. We'll wet it down. We'll see how it looks. And then we'll call this a technique success. Let's see what I mean about if you don't brush off, you end up with the dark color where you don't want it. So always, and that's what my little, I've been sort of well using my, you'll notice that I'm using that very sparingly because that is my last napkin. I'm out of paper towels. I'm nearly out of toilet paper. And I made $6 and like 8 cents on Etsy last week. So things have gotten a little bit better because there is a very sweet lady. She is just a doll. She is using my art for her coloring group uh, for the month of May. So, and people have started to make little purchases. So that's wonderful. Okay, so that will sort of give you an idea. And by using that darker green behind, what I was trying to do was offset this to make it look more like a flower than leaves. So, so if we make this totally green, or a different set of greens behind it, it throws this forward. This particular flower forward. So it could be a green and blue flower. Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, all right, now let's back the camera out so we can get a little bit of an idea of how we're doing overall. Come back up just a tad, give you an idea of actual size, and I will say to you all, as I always do, stay safe, be kind to one another, and until we meet again, please, everybody, color something pretty, and don't worry about how it turns out. Just have fun with it and use it for what it is: stress relief and experimentation and indulging the inner artist in you and all of those types of things. So, bye everyone. Have an absolutely wonderful day and a wonderful week, and thank you for being here.